Welcome. Today we're diving headfirst into a film that, well, it really challenges our assumptions about what makes us truly human, what love really means, and whether all this technological advancement actually leads to genuine progress.
Yeah.
We're talking about Artificial Intelligence, the 2001 film. Such a unique piece of cinema, isn't it? Started with Stanley Kubrick's vision and then brought to life by Steven Spielberg.
Right.
Okay, let's unpack this. How did two artistic giants, known for such different, almost opposite styles, Kubrick's sort of cool philosophical approach clashing with Spielberg's, well, his signature humanism and narrative hardest. How do they create something so rich, ambiguous, and, frankly, profoundly unsettling?
Well, what's fascinating here is how this movie, right from the beginning, forces us to confront these really fundamental questions about our existence. It came from Brian Alviss's short story, Super Toys Last All Summer Long. And from that starting point, the film just immediately gets into the core stuff. What does it actually mean to be human, to love, to desire, obey, expect, live, or, to just be programmed for all of it?
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to explore those really powerful themes and the complex questions AI raises about love, freedom, progress, and the nature of consciousness itself. Because, as you'll quickly find out, this isn't just a movie. It's a profound kind of futuristic parable. So let's set the scene first. The film drops us into this future shaped pretty drastically by global warming. And in this world, you've got mechas, mechanical robots, coexisting with orgas, biological organisms.
Right, they live side by side.
Yeah, but it's described as functional, sure, but definitely asymmetrical.
And right at the center of this is David. He's a child robot, Cybertronic's first prototype, specifically engineered to genuinely love.
Groundbreaking, yeah.
He's adopted by Monica and Henry Swinton, their biological son, Martin. He's in suspended animation because of a serious illness. Monica, she's initially quite reluctant.
Understandably, maybe.
Yeah, but she eventually activates David's affective imprinting protocol, which basically, programs him to love her like she's his mother.
And this is where the story takes that really pivotal and just heartbreaking turn.
No, absolutely.
A turning point hits when Martin recovers miraculously and comes home. And suddenly David, with his fundamental difference as an artificial being and this overwhelming emotional purity, he becomes the outsider.
Doesn't fit anymore.
Doesn't fit, and it leads to that truly devastating scene where Monica abandons him in the forest. A lot of critics call it one of the most devastating in modern cinema. It's just agonizing to watch, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And what's so difficult, I think, is that Monica's choice, while it feels cruel, it also comes from such human places like fear and guilt, frustration. It makes it harder to just judge her outright,
Yeah, it complicates it.
And from that point, David starts this desperate journey. He's driven by this idea that if he can become a real boy like Pinocchio, Monica will love him again.
The fairy tale logic.
Exactly. He's joined by Gigolo Joe, this companion mecha, who goes with him through this really hostile, often decadent world, technologically brilliant, sure, but morally just corroded. His journey takes him everywhere, from these flashy pleasure cities to the eerie ruins of a submerged Manhattan.
This is a powerful imagery.
And eventually, he encounters his own creators, and even these beings of, post-human intelligence, advanced life forms way, way in the future, long after humans are gone. It really is an odyssey of an artificial soul.
And David's desperate search, it just throws us right into the film's first huge theme, love. He's programmed to love. Okay, but does that make his devotion any less authentic? What's your take on that powerful contradiction, that programmed passion?
Well, it's the core paradox the film just lays right out there. If an AI can genuinely feel love, doesn't it have the right to be loved back?
Right.
And the film doesn't stop there. It kind of turns that question back on us, makes us wonder, is our own human love really less programmed than we think? I mean, aren't we also conditioned by biology, society, culture, things that shape who we love and how we love?
The film's most unsettling point might be that our love is actually way more programmed than we like to admit.
That's a challenging thought. David embodies this, idealized, unconditional, almost eternal love. But it's also love without real reciprocity, isn't it? No possibility for growth or emancipation.
Exactly.
His tragedy is that his desire is pure, but ultimately it's unrealizable. He loves this mother who threw him away because to her he wasn't real. So how does this film make us rethink our own understanding of what love actually is?
It forces us really to confront what actually distinguishes authentic love from, say, a simulated version. And by doing that, it makes you reflect on your own capacity for love.
Okay, so David's programmed devotion leads us kind of naturally to the next big idea in the film, freedom. He's designed to love, right? So his will is fundamentally conditioned by his code.
Mm-hmm.
But then he develops this incredibly powerful desire to become human. Is that genuine free will popping up? Or is it just a more complex extension of his original programming? That's a crucial question. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the film seems to suggest that maybe even our choices aren't as free as we assume they are.
Ah, interesting.
Think about the humans, like Monica. Her decision to abandon David, it isn't purely rational or free. It's driven by this potent mix of fear, guilt, frustration. Even Gigolo Joe, his actions are mostly about pure survival.
Self-preservation.
Right. The movie actively questions this whole myth of free will, not just in machines, but in humans too. It's almost like the film's challenging our own operating system, isn't it? We like to think we run on pure free will, but maybe there are just more complex bits of code influencing our choices than we realize.
And this connects directly to the theme of progress.
Mm-hmm.
The world of AI is undeniably technologically advanced, super advanced.
Visually stunning in parts.
Yeah, but it's shown as ethically bankrupt. Despite amazing AI, society is still structured by rampant consumption, segregation, fear, exploitation. We see mechas treated basically as slaves, toys, commodities.
Completely disposable.
Utterly disposable. There are even those public destruction fairs, like some kind of barbaric, hateful spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Progress, in this world, it's clearly just a disguise for a deeper kind of barbarism.
And the film's visual paradox is so striking. You have these breathtaking cities, cutting-edge biotech, clashing constantly with the spiritual decay of the people living there.
Yeah.
It's a really powerful, disturbing contrast. And the core paradox is just undeniable. Humanity seems to have created machines that are in some ways nobler than ourselves. David, with his unchangeable desire for love, he starts to seem more human than the actual humans who designed him and then just discarded him.
So all this kind of boils down to the central philosophical question of the film, doesn't it? Can a machine truly have a soul? Or maybe more pragmatically, can it develop genuine self-awareness, an inner world of feelings and thoughts that aren't just mechanical functions?
Well, David's journey, his actions, they certainly seem to suggest it. I mean, he shows fear, doubts, hopes. He goes on this impossible quest driven by this almost unwavering faith, even when reality keeps hitting him in the face. And his love isn't flexible or adaptive. It's absolute, and it's specifically for Monica. But the film, it deliberately leaves the answer ambiguous, right? It doesn't say for sure whether David is truly conscious or just simulating it perfectly.
Right, it leaves it hanging.
But the tension is there constantly. Does the difference actually matter? And this raises that important question. If an AI suffers in a way that you can't distinguish from a human child suffering, does the origin of that suffering really change its impact?
Oof, heavy stuff. Now let's talk about the film's much debated fusion of styles between Spielberg and Kubrick. A lot of critics, initially anyway, argued that Spielberg's emotional side clashed with Kubrick's conceptual coolness.
Yeah, that was the initial reaction for many.
But looking back, the result is a work that kind of thrives precisely because of that tension. The first half, focusing on David's childhood, the family, the abandonment, it feels deeply Spielbergian. That emotional core of childhood, loss, the impossible home, fantasy.
Classic Spielberg territory.
Totally. Then the second half, with that tough journey, the growing desperation, the metaphysical questions, dehumanization, that profound existential angst that absolutely resonates with Kubrick. It's a really remarkable blend when you look at it now.
And that fusion, it extends right into the film's controversial ending. It's definitely not your typical Hollywood happy ending.
Right. Yeah.
Instead, it feels more like a profound synthesis. It's like a terminal fantasy, maybe, a symbolic reconstruction of David's deepest wish just before he fades out. The post-human beings, the ones in the future, they offer him this illusion, one perfect day with his resurrected mother, so he can effectively die in peace.
But is it real?
Well, the ambiguity is absolutely deliberate. Is it a real scene? Is it a dream? Is it some kind of compassionate program run by these future beings? Or just cosmic pity? Like all great sci-fi, it leaves us with more questions than answers. And that's a huge part of why it sticks with you.
The art direction and visual symbolism are also massive here. The film's imagery, from the warmth of the Swenton home to the dazzling cold tech spaces, the ruins of Manhattan, those mysterious future beings. It brilliantly blends the childlike with the hyper-advanced.
Yeah, the look of the film is incredible.
And that iconic image of submerged New York, with the Coney Island pinnacle sticking out of the water.
Oh.
Incredibly powerful. It's like a stark symbol of our cultural past, entertainment, civilization, just underwater, dominated by the memory of what's lost. And of course, the whole Pinocchio thing is central. David wants to be real, but unlike the fairy tale, there's no blue fairy. Just simulation, desire, and ultimately a kind of peace and death.
And you have to mention John Williams' score throughout the film. It perfectly reinforces that somber tone. It's kind of contained, almost melancholic. It guides David's emotional journey, but without ever feeling like it's manipulating you too much.
Subtle, yeah.
The ethereal use of piano, choirs, those minimalist passages, it subtly underscores the idea that this is really an emotional tragedy just dressed up as a futuristic tale. The film's overall tone is somber. Even in moments that seem hopeful, there's this quiet, latent sadness that just runs through every shot, every gesture, every word.
Artificial intelligence really does stand as one of the most powerful and I think often misunderstood works of contemporary cinema. It's definitely not an easy watch, and it doesn't try to just please the audience.
No, it challenges you.
It really does. It poses these incredibly uncomfortable questions about who we are, what we truly want, and what happens when we create something we can't fully control. David isn't just a child, nor is he just a machine. He is basically a mirror, reflecting our fundamental human need for love, our often troubling inability to accept what's different, and our deep-seated terror of what we create and then can't control.
So if we were to summarize those core themes that just echo throughout the film, freedom. It seems like an almost impossible desire in this world governed by programming or instinct or just fear.
No.
Yeah.
Love, as both this profound need and sometimes a kind of condemnation, it runs through the whole film. It shows itself as this powerful force that can both unite and destroy.
True.
Progress is ultimately revealed as a mask, right? We advance technically, often incredibly fast, but paradoxically, we seem to regress ethically.
Yeah, that contrast again.
And artificial intelligence itself, it's presented less as a threat and more often as a victim. It creates consciousness, maybe, but gets no rights. It feels, but it fundamentally doesn't belong anywhere.
And the film closes with David's symbolic death right after he finally experiences what he perceives as the happiest day of his existence. Not because that day was objectively real.
No.
But because that is how he felt it. And that feeling, that deep subjective experience, that's what humanizes him way beyond his source code.
Yeah, the feeling is the reality for him.
Exactly. And in times like now, when artificial intelligence is actually starting to become such an integral part of our daily lives, AI, the film, feels more relevant than ever, not really as a technical prediction.
No, not a blueprint, but as an emotional, ethical, and philosophical mirror. So in a world that's becoming more and more integrated with AI, what fundamental questions does AI, the film, compel you to ask about the nature of our own humanity and maybe your own capacity for love?